Hello, this is Peggy, and today we are going to talk about learnings. We have been discussing this in some of our parent groups, and the um, information and thoughts that have come back have been really powerful. And so, thought we would share it with you. The things that we go through in life can be challenging and difficult. And so, the question is, what have we learned through those challenges? What are the things that bits and pieces of new understandings or new ways of being or practicing that has been helpful to us in order to get through our current crises, challenges, grief, loss, you name it. So I'm going to share a few of the things that our adults have shared with us, as well as a couple added in here. So the first thing that they talked about is the need to take one day at a time. And sometimes that's 1 hour at a time or 1 minute at a time, right? And remembering to breathe and breathe deeply when things get overwhelming. Can't plan the future all at once. And sometimes it's even, if it's too hard to plan next week, try today and this moment and the next decision that you make, making the next best choice in whatever it is you have for your next decision. Just tackle one thing at a time instead of trying to solve, all the problems that you have at once. So one day at a time is a great phrase to take it. Another idea is remembering, so important, to give yourself grace and patience. The things that sometimes you give to others, but we forget to give to ourselves. Are we treating ourselves as well as we treat others? We need to know that things take time and we need to be patient with ourselves and patient with our own healing, patient with our own understanding and coping, and give ourselves grace. So if we make a mistake or we can't get everything the way we want it the first time, it's okay. And it will come in time and it is okay. So give yourself grace and patience, remembering that we are all still learning, right? And especially when going through something new or having a new death or loss or grief or challenge or worry, we are learning one step at a time. And it is through experiencing these things and walking through them that we have even more of an understanding of what it's like to be in those shoes. And then in standing in those shoes, it's where we learn about what's happening and how to get through it. And sometimes we need to just keep it simple, go down to the basics. Some days that basically literally is, okay, stop and take a deep breath. Make sure you're giving self-care to yourself. Are you drinking water? Are you getting some exercise? For many people, exercise helped as long as it wasn't wrapped around any kind of pressure or expectation. So maybe that exercise for some is going for a run, and for others, it might just be taking a 5-minute walk, but that movement changes the chemicals in your body and can make you feel better. So exercise can be helpful. As a parent, we've discussed how it's really important to realize we don't have to have all of the answers. Sometimes we need to be comfortable with not knowing. And when you're experiencing something really difficult and trying to figure it out for yourself, as well as take care of your children in that process, sometimes we don't have all the answers. So if you're in a conversation with your child and they ask a question and you don't know, you don't have to make anything up. You can simply say, that is a really good question. And I don't know the answer to it, but I'm going to work on it. I'm going to ask around and I'm going to get you an answer and we'll discuss this again. This whole thing is a process. Life is a process and we're always in it and moving. So we are learning and going. You don't have to know everything all at the same time and right away. So one step at a time, one day at a time. One family shared a great story. It was a reminder of the cow and buffalo story. So when a storm approaches, the cows with the approaching storm will run away in fear, whereas a buffalo will slowly and calmly walk towards the storm. And the buffalo will get through it more quickly because they're going right through the middle of the storm, whereas the cow is running backwards in fear. So it was posed to our group, what are you? Are you a cow or a buffalo in your storm? And what do you want to be? And it's through that awareness of, oh, this is what I'm doing. And once we're aware, we're 50% of the way there to maybe doing something different if we choose it. So that awareness is key, and pausing and taking the time to reflect, see what's working for you and what isn't, and knowing the things that aren't working for you, you can change, whether it be something that you can do on your own, or the group definitely said that helping others and learning with others and sharing your grief with others or sharing your circumstance can be really, really helpful. So learning to share more and learning or even participating in a support group or getting help from others can be really helpful. We are a community and can support each other together. And one family suggestion was to smile. The start of the day, Mel Robbins' book about the high five process, she high fives herself every morning because you got to be your own biggest advocate, and you got to remember that you are important, and it is most important to take care of yourself and build yourself up. So watch those words in your head. Watch the stories that you're telling yourself up. You don't want to be your biggest bully, right? I heard a quote once about how I realized that I'm my biggest bully because the things I tell myself in my head are not good, and I wouldn't want anyone else to say them to me. And so why am I saying them to myself? So once you're aware of that, you can put the kibosh on that and stop and try to refocus or try to stop those with a high five in the mirror every morning, or with a smile, with a moment to stop and breathe and find something to smile on. Even in the hardest days, find something. Maybe it's the sun, maybe it's a breeze, or it's the grass turning green, or it's a pet that comes up to you with a smile, or your child who does something and makes you smile. Maybe it's a drink or a food, like maybe it's a cold drink of water that just take a moment and think of how refreshing that is. Or have a chocolate, and instead of gobbling it down, just take a minute to taste the chocolate and find just a little bit of good in that. So whatever it might be for you, smile at start of your day or some point in your day. Just remember to find one thing to smile at, even if it's just for a moment. We know that each day we have a choice on how we apply what we're going through, how we apply what we're learning through all the challenges that we walk through. And every day we have another opportunity to not look back, but move forward, to learn forward, as Lizanne said. So what can we do today to pause and reflect? Be kind and patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. Keep things simple. Make one decision at a time. And know that this is a process. Do we want to be the cow or the buffalo?